Hello, everyone, and welcome back to This Week in 23 Sports. I'm Kayla Smith.
And I'm Jack McGrath. Mizzou had a very busy week in sports this week. We'll highlight the action and talk about what's coming up next.
All this to come on This Week in 23 Sports.
Welcome to This Week in 23 Sports, your premier University of Missouri sports update show. Now your hosts, Jack McGrath and Kayla Smith.
Last Thursday, Mizzou volleyball wrapped up their series against Alabama. In Game 1, Mizzou won in 4 sets, but in Game 2, the women quickly swept in 3 sets, not allowing Alabama to come within 6 points of them the entire game.
Yeah, the offense had a night once again with Kylie DeBerg in the lead. Along with Anna Dixon, though, this time they matched each other's 9 kills for Mizzou, and they swept, actually, all of the SEC weekly awards for volleyball, with Tiana Omazic winning the Defensive Player of the Week. She contributed 11 blocks in the series. Andrea Fuentes, earned Setter of the Week with 72 assists. That's to everybody on the team. So a lot of kills there for the Tigers this week. Libero Emily Brown earned Freshman of the Week with 24 digs in the back row. And Kylie DeBerg taking both the Offensive Player of the Week and the overall SEC Player of the Week. Super impressive. She had a total of 31 kills in the series, earning her 1,000th career college kill as we covered last week. 17 digs, 2 aces, and 9 blocks. Pretty good performance from the senior.
An absolutely great start for this Tiger team. And to your point last week, Kayla, you said this could be the year for this Missouri Tigers volleyball team. And right now they're ranked number 9 in the nation. Those rankings have not been updated yet since their last 2 games. So they're sitting right at that number 9 spot. Could make a jump with those 2 wins against Alabama.
Yeah, and I cannot say enough about this matchup that they have coming up this week. They will be taking on Kentucky tomorrow and Thursday. 2 top 10 teams. Kentucky ranked 3rd in the nation. At home at Mizzou. So if anybody has the chance to get out to this game, I absolutely recommend that you do. This is going to be some elite volleyball, a precursor to the SEC champions, and definitely the NCAA tournament. Could be 2, Final Four teams potentially.
There you go, 2 really good volleyball teams coming to Columbia. Super exciting stuff. And speaking of Kentucky, Mizzou football hosted Kentucky last Saturday, continued the magic that we saw 2 weeks ago against LSU. Mizzou defeated Kentucky 20-10 to improve to 2-2 on the year. Larry Roundtree was the story for Mizzou, running 37 times for 126 yards and 2 touchdowns. Connor Bazelak, once again, played well. Went 21 for 30 throwing, 201 yards. Didn't get in that zone, but really good game for him as well.
It's nice to see him come into his position for sure as the quarterback, give Coach some confidence in the decision that he made. They're set for another challenge this weekend, though, as they travel to Gainesville to take on the number 10 Florida Gators, then have a bye week after the Florida game, and then host the number 5 Georgia. So these next 2 matchups, definitely going to be a challenge. But we've seen Mizzou really step up, against LSU. So maybe there's still some hope. I will say, going into the season, I did not have high hopes. I had us projected at maybe like 2-8, 3-7. But seeing how this season's gone and what we have left to go, I could realistically see Mizzou finishing out 6-4 or maybe 5-5 at 500. What do you think?
It's a possibility for this Mizzou team. These next 2 games against 2 ranked opponents, Florida and Georgia, going to be a huge test for this team. But after that, if they get through this game against Georgia, that's the toughest part of their schedule. After that game, the rest of the 4 games for Missouri, those teams have a combined 5-11 record for the opponents that Missouri will face in those last few games there. So if they get through that tough part of the schedule, suddenly it's a little bit easier for them, and they could have some good matchups down the home stretch. Yeah. All right, moving on to the soccer pitch. Mizzou soccer tied with Mississippi State on Saturday in a 1-1 draw. This is Mizzou's 2nd consecutive tie after they played LSU to a deadlock as well on Friday. Mizzou is now 1-2 on the year. Okay start for them.
Okay, I'm sure it's not the start that they were hoping to have, especially with that, first week bye. But Macy Trujillo, scored the lone goal for the Tigers, her first of the year. Mizzou seemed to have found some consistency in the goalkeeper, as Isabella Alessio has now started 3 games in a row, and after McKenna Sheehan got the start versus Vanderbilt. Missouri's next game at home will be against Kentucky, like the rest of the squad. Everybody's playing Kentucky this week on Sunday at noon.
All right, and there were some good plays in that last soccer game. We're going to hit on one of them here. Let's roll our top 3 plays of the week. Starting off, it's a simple play, but it was a big moment. Mizzou 4th and 6. Connor Bazelak finds Dove over the middle for the big Mizzou first down in a big moment.
Next up in number 2, we have Mizzou volleyball. First set, Anna Dixon gets that attack over the net. Alabama just gives a nice easy cookie over the net overpass, and she stuffs it right back down in her face.
Here we go, Mizzou soccer at number 1. Time ticking down. Blythe Beldner sends it in on the beautiful cross, and Macy Trujillo finishes it off. That's a goal for Missouri. Put them up 1-0. They did wind up drawing that game 1-1.
And that is your top plays this week.
All right. So now that we saw the top plays from last week, I'm sure there will be some more great plays this week. Let's check out what's happening this week in Missouri sports.
First up, we've got volleyball starting tomorrow night at home. They take on Kentucky Wednesday and Thursday night, both games at 8 p.m., both games also on ESPNU.
And then on Friday, the cross-country SEC championship will take place. That's a much longer event, not a televised event, but good event to see the Missouri Tigers in.
And then we see tennis versus Central Arkansas at Central Arkansas on Friday at 9 a.m. and then Saturday at 1 p.m. Do not have a broadcast decision for that yet.
All right, and then football versus Florida, Saturday, 6:30 p.m. on the SEC Network alternate. We talked about that Florida game earlier. Should be an exciting one, a ranked Florida team versus this Missouri team who's looking pretty good right now.
And then again, we have volleyball next week at home with another 2-game series, this time against Arkansas. They play Wednesday at 5 p.m. on ESPNU if you cannot make it to Hearns, and Thursday at 6 p.m. on SEC Network. And that is what's happening this week. Jack, I'll have to say, our jobs have been pretty easy lately. Mizzou sports are just really killing it on all fronts, it seems like.
Yeah, so teams are playing well. Volleyball's looking good. Soccer's doing all right. And then, of course, football has won their past 2. So some good starts for these Tiger teams as they start their seasons. And ending on that good note, I think that's going to do it for us here at This Week in 23 Sports. I am Jack McGrath alongside Kaylor Smith. Thank you for joining us, and stay safe, Tigers.